The Forbidden Archive. The most dangerous place in the universe. The quantum library floated at the edge of known space, a massive structure of crystalline data cores that twisted through 17 dimensions simultaneously. Every advanced civilization in the galaxy knew about it. Every advanced civilization had lost researchers trying to access it. The library had appeared 500 years ago, emerging from a quantum fluctuation that nobody fully understood. It contained knowledge, infinite knowledge spanning multiple timelines and parallel universes. The problem was simple: anyone who tried to access that knowledge died. Not eventually. Immediately. The death toll was staggering. The Crovatian Empire had sent their best quantum physicists. All 43 had perished instantly when they attempted to interface with the library's systems, their minds simply ceasing to exist as if deleted from reality itself. The Tellurian collective tried next, using remote drones and AI interfaces. The machines worked perfectly until the moment they touched the library's data streams, then they stopped. Completely. Irreversibly. Even their backup systems failed. Over 5 centuries, 247 expeditions from 89 different species had attempted to unlock the library's secrets. The total death count exceeded 12,000 beings. The structure had been declared off-limits by the Galactic Council, marked with warning beacons that could be seen from 3 star systems away. Approach was forbidden. Research was forbidden. Even thinking too hard about the library's mysteries was discouraged in academic circles. The human who didn't get the memo. Emma Chen had been a librarian for 15 years before she left Earth. Not a digital information specialist or a data management expert, an actual, old-fashioned librarian who helped people find books, organized community reading programs, and believed deeply that knowledge should be accessible to everyone. When she signed up for the Galactic Cultural Exchange program, she'd expected to work in a nice, safe archive on some civilized station. Instead, due to what her supervisor called an unfortunate clerical error, Emma found herself assigned to Survey Station Epsilon, a remote outpost whose primary job was to monitor the quantum library and make sure nobody tried to approach it. It's mostly automated, Commander Vrask had explained when Emma arrived. The insectoid officer's mandibles clicked nervously as he spoke. The warning systems do all the real work. You'll just be cataloging our historical records and maintaining the station's internal database. Very boring. Very safe. Emma didn't mind boring. She'd spent years in peaceful libraries back on Earth. Boring was comfortable. The message nobody expected. 3 weeks into her assignment, Emma was organizing the station's physical archive, actual books that various species had contributed over the centuries, when the library did something it had never done before. It sent a message. Every screen on the station lit up simultaneously. Every speaker crackled to life. The message was simple, displayed in every known language. Knowledge seeker detected. Access inquiry received. Please state credentials and intent. Commander Vrask rushed into the archive room, where Emma stood frozen, holding a 200-year-old Tellurian poetry collection. Did you touch something? Vrask demanded, his compound eyes wide with panic. Did you activate any systems? No? Emma said. I was just shelving books. I haven't touched any of the monitoring equipment. The message repeated, pulsing gently across every display. Knowledge seeker detected. Access inquiry received. Please state credentials and intent. This is impossible, Vrask whispered. The library has never communicated. It only kills. That's all it's done for 5 centuries. Emma stared at the message, her librarian instincts kicking in. She'd seen countless automated systems, countless digital catalogs and database interfaces. This read like a prompt. Like the library was waiting for someone to respond properly. What if, Emma said slowly, we've been approaching this wrong? The simplest answer. Absolutely not, Vrask said for the 17th time. I cannot authorize a human, to attempt communication with the most deadly structure in known space. But it's asking for credentials, Emma insisted. They were in the station's command center now, surrounded by displays showing the library's continuing message. It's been asking for 500 years, and everyone who approached tried to take the information by force. Nobody asked permission. Because it's a library, not a sentient being. Is it? Emma pulled up her tablet, showing him research she'd been reading. Every report says the same thing: researchers tried to crack the system, breach the defenses, hack the database. The Crovatian military even tried to assault it with quantum weapons. Nobody tried the simple approach. What simple approach? Vrask's mandibles clicked in frustration. Asking nicely. The commander stared at her. So did every other crew member in the command center. Several of them made gestures that were probably the galactic equivalent of questioning her sanity. You want to ask nicely, Vrask repeated slowly, to the structure that has killed 12,000 beings. I want to respond to its access inquiry, Emma corrected. With proper credentials and stated intent. Like any secure library system would require. The Galactic Council gets involved. It took 3 days of arguments before Emma's proposal reached the Galactic Council. It took another week for them to stop laughing. Finally, a senior counselor named Thera, a being of pure energy contained in a crystalline matrix, agreed to hear her out. Let me understand your proposal. Thera's voice resonated through the communication chamber. You believe the quantum library, which has eliminated every attempt at access for 5 centuries, is simply waiting for someone to fill out the proper paperwork? Not paperwork exactly, Emma said, trying to keep her voice steady despite addressing one of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. But yes, basically. Every library has access protocols. You need a library card, or proper credentials, or you need to state why you're there. The library has been asking for this information constantly. We've just been ignoring the question. And dying, another counselor added dryly. Because they were trying to break in rather than check out, Emma replied. Look, I've worked with restricted archives before. The more valuable the information, the more important proper protocol becomes. Maybe the library isn't hostile. Maybe it's just doing its job. There was a long silence. If we allow this, Thera said finally, and you die like all the others, humanity will blame us. I'll sign whatever waivers you need, Emma said. But I think I'm right. The library is asking a question. We should try answering it. The approach. They equipped Emma with every protective system available: quantum shields, dimensional anchors, neural backup systems, emergency extraction protocols. She felt like she was wearing half the station's technology budget. Remember, Vrask said as Emma prepared to board the transport, at the first sign of danger, we pull you out. Understood, Emma said. She carried only one item with her besides the protective gear, her old library ID card from Earth. It seemed appropriate. The transport approached the quantum library slowly, every sensor active, every emergency system primed. Emma watched through the viewport as the crystalline structure grew larger, its surfaces reflecting realities that didn't quite match their current universe. The library's message appeared on her helmet display. Knowledge seeker detected. Access inquiry received. Please state credentials and intent. Emma took a deep breath and spoke clearly. My name is Emma Chen. I'm a librarian from Earth. I'm here to request access to your collection for research purposes. I promise to handle all materials with care and respect the rules of your institution. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the library responded, and its message made Emma smile. Credentials accepted. Welcome, Librarian Chen. Please proceed to the main reading room. Your library card has been activated. Reminder, materials must be returned by the due date. The deadly quantum library, terror of the galaxy, had just opened its doors. Because someone finally remembered to ask politely, the keeper of infinite knowledge. Inside the impossible. The transport docked without incident, a first in 500 years of the library's existence. As Emma stepped through the airlock, her protective systems registered 0 hostile activity. The quantum shields designed to protect her from reality-shredding data streams found nothing to shield against. The interior of the library was breathtaking. Endless corridors stretched in impossible directions, their walls lined with crystalline data cores that shifted through colors Emma had no names for. Holographic displays floated in the air, showing information in countless languages and formats. Some books were physical, some were pure light, and some existed in states of quantum superposition until observed. "This is the main reading room," a voice said. Emma turned to find something. The being before her wasn't quite solid, wasn't quite there. It flickered between forms, sometimes humanoid, sometimes crystalline, sometimes just a pattern of light and probability. "You're the library's librarian?" Emma asked. "I am the curator," the being replied. "I have maintained this collection for 500 years, waiting for someone who understood the proper protocols. You were the first to request access rather than attempt theft. Everyone who came before tried to steal the information?" "Every single one." The curator's form stabilized into something vaguely humanoid, perhaps for Emma's comfort. "They brought weapons, hacking tools, quantum extraction devices. They treated this facility as a target to be conquered rather than a library to be visited. The defensive protocols responded accordingly." Emma felt a chill despite her environmental suit. The deaths, those were defensive protocols? "The library protects itself," the curator said simply. "Just as any secure archive would. Those who attempt unauthorized access are removed. Those who follow proper procedure are welcomed." "You followed procedure." "I just used common sense," Emma said. "Any restricted library back home works the same way." The curator made a sound that might have been laughter. "Perhaps that is why your species was chosen." "The truth about the library." "Chosen?" Emma followed the curator deeper into the library, past reading areas where data streams flowed like waterfalls and knowledge crystallized in the air. "I thought the library just appeared 500 years ago." "The library was built," the curator corrected, "by a civilization that existed 3 million years ago. The architects, as they called themselves, had mastered quantum information storage. They created this facility to preserve knowledge across all timelines and parallel realities. When their civilization ended, they left the library as a gift to whatever species would come after." "A gift that kills people?" "A gift that requires respect," the curator said firmly. The architects knew that any species capable of using this knowledge wisely would also understand basic courtesy and protocol. Those who approached with violence or arrogance would self-select out. "You humans have a saying, the password is please." The architects built an entire library around that principle. They entered a vast chamber where information literally spiraled through the air in streams of crystalline data. Emma could see fragments of it: advanced physics, medical cures, historical records from civilizations that had died before Earth's sun ignited, artistic works from cultures that had transcended physical existence. "This is incredible," Emma whispered. "And you've been alone here for 5 centuries? "Curating," the being said. "Maintaining. Waiting for someone who understood that knowledge is not taken, it is shared. Someone who approached as a guest rather than a conqueror." The challenge. Emma spent hours exploring, guided by the curator. The library's organization system made sense once she understood it, a multidimensional version of the Dewey Decimal System, adapted for quantum information storage. She took notes, asked questions, and treated the space exactly as she would any special collection back on Earth. "Counselor Chen," Commander Vrask's voice crackled through her communicator. "You've been inside for 6 hours. Are you all right?" "I'm fine," Emma said, standing in a reading room where books from 17 different timelines coexisted on the same shelf. "I'm cataloging." "This place is amazing, Commander." "You're cataloging the quantum library?" "Well, someone has to," Emma said. "The organization system is brilliant, but there's no public catalog. How is anyone supposed to know what's available?" There was a long silence on the comm line. "Librarian Chen," the curator said after she'd closed the connection, "would you like to know why you were truly brought here?" The clerical error wasn't an error, Emma guessed. The library's systems reached out to the Galactic Personnel database 3 months ago, the curator explained. I searched for individuals with specific qualifications, respect for knowledge, understanding of organizational systems, patience, humility, and a genuine desire to help others access information. Your profile was one of 12,000 that matched. You were the closest physically. You recruited me? The library needs a liaison, the curator said. Someone who can teach others how to approach correctly. Someone who understands that the greatest knowledge in the universe is worthless if it cannot be shared properly. I am the curator, but I need a head librarian. Someone from the current galaxy, who understands current needs and current cultures. Emma looked around at the infinite knowledge surrounding her, cures for diseases that plagued dozens of species, clean energy solutions, historical records that could resolve centuries-old mysteries, art and literature that could enrich billions of lives. On one condition, Emma said. Name it. We make this truly public. Free access for anyone who asks properly. No restrictions based on species or politics or power. The architects left this as a gift. We honor that by sharing it. The curator's form brightened, shifting through pleased colors. You understand the purpose perfectly. Welcome, Head Librarian Chen. Let us begin training your assistants. The revolution. Within 3 months, everything changed. Emma established training programs teaching proper library protocol. It wasn't complicated: approach respectfully, state your purpose clearly, handle materials carefully, return items on time. Basic library etiquette, scaled up to quantum dimensions. The first non-human to successfully access the library was a young Tellurian researcher named Kiva, studying medical records to cure a plague affecting her homeworld. She followed Emma's instructions exactly, received her library card, and found the cure within 2 hours of searching. News spread rapidly. The deadly quantum library wasn't deadly at all, it was just polite. It expected visitors to behave like patrons rather than raiders. Researchers came in carefully managed groups, trained by Emma's team. They found solutions to engineering problems that had plagued civilizations for centuries. They discovered artistic techniques from extinct cultures. They learned from the mistakes and triumphs of 3 million years of galactic history. The death toll stopped at 12,000. The number of successful library visits climbed daily. What made the difference? 6 months after her first visit, Emma stood in her office, an actual office inside the library, with a desk and comfortable chairs and a window that looked out onto 17 dimensions simultaneously. Commander Vrask had come to visit, bringing his own library card. I still don't fully understand, Vrask admitted. Why humans? Why you? Your species isn't the most advanced, or the most powerful, or the most intelligent. Maybe that's exactly why, Emma said. She gestured to the library beyond her office. Every species that came before tried to conquer this place with their greatest strengths: military might, advanced technology, quantum physics expertise. They approached it as a problem to solve or a fortress to breach. And you? I approached it as a library, Emma said simply. Because that's what it is. Humans have this tradition: we've had libraries for thousands of years, long before we reached space. We understand something that maybe got lost in all the advanced technology: knowledge isn't something you take. It's something you're given access to, if you show respect. Vrask's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. The password is please. Exactly. Emma pulled up her display, showing the library's growing patron list. Thousands of beings from hundreds of species, all learning to approach knowledge with humility and respect. The architects knew this. They built a test that would only pass people who understood that fundamental truth. Force doesn't work here. Humility does. And the clerical error that brought you here? Emma smiled. The library needed a librarian. The galaxy's most advanced computer systems, spanning multiple dimensions and timelines, looked at billions of potential candidates. And it chose me, a human with 15 years of experience helping people find books. That tells you everything you need to know about what really matters. The legacy. Years later, the Quantum Library had become the beating heart of galactic education. Emma trained hundreds of assistant librarians from dozens of species. The curator worked with them all, patient and eternal, maintaining the gift the architects had left. But Emma Chen remained the head librarian, the human who had solved the galaxy's greatest mystery by using the simplest answer, asking permission. She stood sometimes in the main reading room, watching researchers from across the galaxy working quietly, respectfully accessing knowledge that had been locked away for centuries. They came from every species, every political faction, every level of technological advancement. And they all had library cards. You know what the best part is? Emma said to the curator one day. Tell me. For 3 million years, the architects preserved all this knowledge, waiting for someone wise enough to access it properly. And when that someone finally came, it wasn't a warrior or a genius or a politician. It was a librarian. Someone whose entire job was to help people find what they were looking for. The curator's form shimmered with pleasure. The architects would have appreciated that irony. They left their greatest treasure in the care of those who understood its true value, not the information itself, but the sharing of it. Emma touched one of the crystalline data cores, feeling the gentle hum of infinite knowledge flowing through quantum dimensions. Somewhere on Earth, in a small public library, a young person was checking out their first book. And here, at the edge of space, Emma Chen was doing the same job on a scale that spanned universes. The Quantum Library had killed thousands because they tried to steal from it. It welcomed millions because they learned to ask nicely. Sometimes, Emma reflected, the most advanced civilizations forgot the simplest truths. Sometimes it took a human librarian to remember that the password really was please. And sometimes, the galaxy didn't need heroes or geniuses. It just needed someone who understood that knowledge was meant to be shared, that respect mattered more than power, and that the best way to unlock the universe's greatest secrets was to say excuse me and thank you. Emma Chen had done that. And in doing so, she'd given the galaxy a gift worth more than all the weapons and technologies ever created, access to wisdom, offered freely to anyone who approached with courtesy. The library hummed contentedly around her, its quantum systems processing requests from 1,000 worlds. And Emma smiled, because this was what she'd always wanted to do, help people find what they were looking for. Even if now, she was doing it across 17 dimensions.